Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Stag Voiceover. My name is Neil Glasgow. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about some of the things actually that used to trip me up when I first started out in voiceover. And that's the terminology that sometimes gets used by casting directors, producers, creative directors, people who engage your services as a voice actor. They might send you an email. They say, yeah, we need this particular service. And what I was always quite bad at doing was going, yeah, sure, no problem. What the hell did you just ask me to do? And then quickly Googling what it was. So it made me think to put a list together of some of the terminology that I think some people in the market might not be familiar with, especially when you're just starting out. So let's get into it. So I'm going to rattle through these as alphabetically as I can, and I'm going to start off with ADR. Now, ADR essentially stands for Automated Dialogue Replacement. So this is where you're going to do some overdubbing. Essentially, you're going to replace single lines or multiple lines because they're either not usable in the video or the script, or they're just poorly recorded. So you're going to go over and trying to match the intonation and the inflections of whatever it is that you're looking on screen. That's an ADR read. The next one is Ambience. So I'm probably saying that wrong. Ambience. Ignore this. Ambience. That's essentially, they're going to ask you to say, can you put in some ambience into your track? And what they're talking about is the read might be for someone in a cafe or in a hospital. And it's about putting those background noises into your audio that essentially gives the impression of you being in a cafe or a hospital or hospital cafe. But that's what they're looking for. Ambience is just to make sure that your read sounds as if you're in the place that you're supposed to be in. The next one is audio guide. Now, this might sound a little bit self-explanatory, but it is a grouping of work that you'll do. So traditionally this is things like museum audio guides, tour bus audio guides, that sort of thing. So if you're asked for those sorts of reads, just bear in mind that that's the style that you have to go for, but some of those things are going to be a little bit more in depth than perhaps you're used to as well. So again, budget and accommodate your time effectively for that, because these things tend to be lengthy. The next one is bumpers. Now, bumpers are essentially bookends at the end of segments. So where you see things like the weather brought to you by, that's a bumper. It's a promotional element that they're going to tack on to the TV show, the radio show, whatever it is, that's a bumper. The next one is backbed. Now, backbed is essentially where you're going to hear the legal T's and C's at the end of an advert, or the jingle with the location that someone can come and pick up their car, that sort of thing. And again, you might be asked to read the back end of a separate advert where you don't read the advert itself, but that's the backbed. So again, just bear in mind of the usage. The next one is the bed, and the bed is essentially the music or track or audio that goes underneath whatever it is that you're recording. You might be providing that, or that might come from the production house itself. But if they ask you for the bed or can you produce a bed, that's what they're looking for. The next one is bleed, and bleed might be what you hear coming out of your headphones if you're in your booth. It's that excess noise, and they might hear that reverb in the background of whatever it is that you're recording. So if they say there's some bleed on the recording, that's what they're talking about. The next one is branching. Now, branching is where you essentially record the beginning of a sentence and then multiple endings to that sentence. So say you're doing a video game and there's multiple endings to that. That would be the branching. And again, that's just something that you might be asked for multiple takes, and they'll use that maybe in different regions, different localities, whatever that might be. But that's something that you might be asked for. So branching. And the last of the B's is buyout. Now, you hear about this all the time, and buyout is essentially what they're going to pay you so that they never have to pay you again, or at least for a fixed amount of time. Be cautious of that. So the buyout is sometimes 50% all the way up to about 400+% of your basic studio fee. my next B, basic studio fee. That is where your cost, so say you're going to charge £300 or dollars or wherever you're watching this, $300 for your track that you're putting down. That's your basic studio fee, essentially. So it's whatever you're charging for that engagement, and then for the buyout, you can choose, or your agent can choose, whatever the arrangement is, anything from nothing all the way up to several 100% of that fee. Depends on what the usage is going to be. If they're going to make tens of thousands, if not millions of pounds off of what you're producing, then the higher that goes up. And you can say, yes, it will cost you 100% of this basic studio fee, which is essentially just double the fee, and that will cover you for 6 months. And if you want to use that audio again after 6 months, you have to pay me that basic studio fee again. That's how it works. So commercial, what they're talking about there, it depends where you are in the world, but commercial adverts, they are essentially things that are advertising a product. Now, this can be on the radio, the TV, cinemas, whatever it is. If you're providing a commercial for that and it's going to be used to generate income and money and sell a product, that's a commercial. So there are different uses within commercial, but when you hear that as a request, that's what they're talking about. Fairly self-explanatory. The next one is what's called a cold read. So essentially that just means you've got no time to prepare. They're going to send you a script, you read it as essentially you're saying it, and you try and give your best performance for that. But that comes out quite a lot. So cold read, if that comes up, that's what they're asking for. Compression is the next one, and compression essentially just reduces the dynamic range of your audio. So they might say to you, please don't use compression or use some light compression. Your compression ratio should always be 2 to 1, between 2 to 1 and 4 to 1. 1 to 1 does nothing. 2 to 1, very light. 4 to 1, 5 to 1, that's getting quite heavy. And people have multiple compressors. And I've said this before, if you don't know what you're doing with compression, don't touch it. Just leave it alone. And if they ask for compression, ask them what settings they might like to use, what would their audio engineers like to use. You'll need to tweak it for your voice, which comes into the learning element. But honestly, if you don't know what you're doing, don't touch it. The next one is copy. If you hear anyone say, we'll send you the copy out, that's just the script. So just be aware of that. The next one is crosstalk. Now, if and when you ever manage to get back into a studio, if you hear them talk about crosstalk, it's your audio is being picked up on someone else's mic. So either they're going to have to do something to adjust that, or you're going to have to adjust your performance to make sure that that isn't picked up on someone else's mic. But that's crosstalk. The next one is corporate. So corporate reads are very different to commercial reads. So these generally are used for internal use only. They might be for an intranet video or for some internal promotion, whatever that might be, but they are not to be used to generate lots of income for these businesses. They're mainly used either on social media platforms or on the company's website. But corporate reads are charged differently, but are a different target market. So again, if you're asked for a corporate read, just know that it is very different to commercial and that your expectations on how you're charging that should again be different. The next one is continuity. So that's where you finish watching one show and you hear someone say, coming up next, here's some guy doing something. That's your continuity. Stay tuned for, that's your continuity. It's the bridge between two radio shows, two TV shows, whatever it is, but if they're asking for a continuity, and again, sometimes that comes down to previously on, that's continuity as well. So if you're asked for that, that's what they're asking for. And the last C is company TTS. So that is text to speech. So this is where you phone up whatever company that you've definitely phoned up in the past, and you have this automated voice that says press 1 for, or after the tone, tell us what you're after. That's your text-to-speech or your AI voice. These are quite lucrative jobs if you can get them, but that's what they're talking about. If they ever ask, can you do a TTS read, text-to-speech? The next one is what's called eye-brain-mouth coordination. And this is essentially, it's a very weird phrase, but this is essentially you have to read the script and bring it to life. That's what they're talking about. So if you don't hear bring the script to life, you might hear eye-brain-mouth coordination. And that is you're doing a dry read, Yeah, and you're bringing it to life. That's what they're looking for. So eye, brain, mouth coordination. The next one is e-learning, and again, fairly self-explanatory, but that is online learning where you might be doing something for engineering, or you might be doing something for medical, or whatever it might be. Again, these reads tend to be a little bit more in depth, have some technical terminology, and the main point on these reads is not that you can read them, it's that you can be engaging with them. So make sure if you do offer that as a service, you can take some pretty dry material, and I've talked about this before on the channel, where I'm talking through serial numbers and I still have to make it sound dynamic. So e-learning. And the next one that filters off of that is an explainer video. And these things are very different. So an explainer video might be something that you see on YouTube, that's maybe a little animation, 2 to 3 minutes long, something along those lines, and it's saying this is what a particular thing can do, a company can do, here's why we do our thing. It's explaining a topic, and that's what you're expected to do. You need to make it clear and concise and authoritative, or whatever it is that they're looking for from that particular read, but that's the difference between e-learning and an explainer. The next one is imaging. So say you're listening to the radio and you hear, you're listening to insert radio station. That's imaging. It's talking about the brand. It's not talking about any particular advertising. If it's, you're listening to blah, 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 sponsored by blah, 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 that is getting into a bit of muddy water, and you might be into imaging and bumpers as well. So just be aware of that. But if they ask for imaging, that's what they're looking for. The next one is IVR, interactive voice recording. Now, this is different from a text-to-speech. And that is, again, you're phoning up these companies and it's press 1 for this, or welcome to X company, press 1 for sales, 2 for this. That's an IVR read. So just be aware that there is a difference between text-to-speech and IVR, and IVRs are generally much easier to do. You're not the voice. Text-to-speech would be a Siri. IVR is phoning up your bank. Yeah. The next one is ISDN, and that essentially stands for Integrated Digital Service Network. This is where you can be directed from your home if you've got the right setup, and they can record everything at their booth. So they can have a sound engineer hundreds or thousands of miles away, and it gets a direct over the internet connection, and they record everything and edit everything on their side as well. So that's ISDN. There are other ways they can do that, like Source Connect, etc. But if you see ISDN, that's what they're looking at. The next one is medical narration that you'll come across. Now, this can fall into the e-learning spectrum, but it is a specific subset of e-learning, and it's very in-depth. I've done quite a few of these medical e-learnings over especially the course of 2020. Lots of Latin. So if you're not confident in giving those styles of read, again, maybe just pass them by, but that's what they're looking for. Can you do medical? That's what they're asking. The next one is promos. So promos are different to commercials. So this is where if you're on the BBC, where they don't have external advertising, they will do a promo for one of the BBC shows. So if you're on a radio show, they're not promoting Kia cars, they're promoting something else that's on the radio. So it's one of their shows. So again, it's priced differently, but if they ask for a promo, just know that it is different from a commercial. The next one is pickups. So pickups are where something's gone wrong in the recording. Either there was a missaid word or the line needed to be changed, and they just want you to do not a whole session, maybe just 2 or 3 things to get the finished product done right. So that's a pickup. The next one is reuse. So this is visiting a little bit of what I said earlier. Reuse essentially says once that time frame has run out for using your audio, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it might be, they'll use a reuse clause and essentially just pay you more money again. But if they have that written in their offer, their contracts, that's what they're talking about, reuse. The next one is safety. So this is where they've got a take that they really like, but let's just do one more just to be sure. That's their safety. And what you sometimes find is your safety is your best take. What you sometimes find is the take that you practice on at the very beginning is also your best take. So just be aware if they ask for a safety, that's what they're asking for. Do the whole thing again, even though it was perfect. The next one is slate. So slate is where you would say your name, who you're represented by perhaps, before you do your audition or your sample read, whatever it is that you're doing. But slating, sometimes you'll be asked to slate, and other times you'll be asked categorically, do not slate. But that's what it is. Say your name at the beginning or don't say your name at the beginning. And the last one is watermark. Now, you'll either be told to or, again, not to watermark your audio. Now, watermark is essentially you're making it unusable. So you give your delivery, you can put in, little sounds like that perhaps, to make it unusable. They cannot make money off it. They cannot put it on the radio. It gives them that quality of your sound and your delivery, but until they pay you or you invoice, whatever it is, it's watermarked. And then you can add in, or remove rather, your watermark from the original track that they like. Some places will say absolutely don't watermark, places like voices.com. Or if you're doing something more independent, you might want to watermark your work until you're confident that you're going to get paid. But that's it. That's A to W, all the things that I could think of that I didn't know the meaning of when I first started out doing voiceover. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully that streamlines some of your endeavours when you're out in the market. And if any of these were unfamiliar to you, then please do leave me a like and subscribe. It honestly does help the channel out. And if you can share it on Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. And remember, you can absolutely be a more informed voiceover artist. I'll see you in the next video.